So guys, if you plan to study in Ireland for the next academic year or the next 2 academic year, whenever time you plan to study in Ireland, there are certain things you should know, and then this video is for you. Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. It is Studyacrossglobe here. If this is your first time stopping by, you're welcome, and if this is your second time or third time or your fourth time, just know that you're a real one. Thank you so much for sticking with me up until this time. So today I have one of my most requested video ever since I dropped my get to know me tag, and I mentioned that I was an international student in the Republic of Ireland studying for my master's degree. I got a lot of questions concerning my school process, how I did it, how I got to Ireland, how Ireland is for students, how much the tuition fee, how much is the tuition fee, and if there is scholarship, and so on and so forth. So I'm here to answer all of these questions. I even put up a poll yesterday concerning this topic, and I got lots of questions from everyone, and I'm going to say thank you to everyone that sent in their questions. I'm here to answer all of your questions today. So how we're going to do it here, because I got a lot of questions, and I still also want to give some tips to those that are planning on studying in Ireland, either the next academic year or the next one, whatever your case may be. So this video is going to be divided into like 4 or 5 segments, and when I'm going to be talking about application process, I'm also going to be talking about living cost, I'm going to be talking about scholarships, and about social experiences, and about visa. So as an international student living in Ireland and studying as well, I was asked some questions from everybody. Thank you to those who sent in that question, like I already said. So I'm going to begin with the application process. So the first question someone asked me was school finding process. I think the easiest thing to do is just to go on your internet on your phone and then type on Google and just ask Google to tell you the number or the names of the universities that we have in Ireland, and then a list is going to come out, and then you try to check each and every one of them depending on the course choice. Depending on your course choice, I even think the first thing you should do is to know what exactly you want to study. First of all, that's even the main thing. When you know what you want to study, it's going to be easier for you to streamline down to schools that actually offer that particular course. So when you know what you want to study, you check on Google and find out schools that are offering what you want to study. You check if you're eligible to apply for that particular course. There are some schools that say you have to have a 2-1 as your minimum. There are some schools that allow for a 2-2 as well, but then that also depends on how good your personal statement is, which I'm going to come back to later on. And then once you just know what you're going to study and you're eligible to apply for that particular course in that particular school, I feel like that's the first step to coming to Ireland to study for whatever degree, be it bachelor's degree, your master's, or your PhD. So someone asked me the application requirements documents. I know that when I was coming, I made use of my international passports. Your international passport has to be a very recent passport. Not really recent, but it has to give you time to at least stay in the country for up till like 2 years. You get what I mean? You also need your academic credentials. That's your academic transcript. If you're applying as a master's degree student, you will need your bachelor's degree academic transcript, your bachelor's degree certificate, and if you're applying for a PhD, you will need your bachelor's and master's degree academic transcript and also your bachelor and master's degree certificate. And if you're applying for a bachelor's degree, you will need your country's high school certificates. So in Nigeria, we call it the WAEC or the NECO. You either need any of those two. You also will need your personal statement. So personal statement can also be called a letter of intent. People ask me this question a lot, and I'm going to leave down in the description box a copy of my own personal statement so that you guys can really understand what I'm trying to say. A personal statement is more like a one-page document that talks about why you want to do that particular course in that particular school and in that particular country, and after studying that particular course in that particular school and in that particular country, what you want to achieve or what the course is going to do for you back in your home country. When you're writing a personal statement, you don't write a personal statement stating that, oh, I want to study medicine because I want to treat people in UK, using that for an example. You have to say, oh, I'm going to the UK to study medicine because I have a passion for treating people, you know, and then I want to use whatever skills and knowledge I learn back in my home country. You always have to relate it back to your home country. That's the way they actually write a very good personal statement. For more about personal statements, you will have to check my description box down below to see a copy of my own personal statement. And for those that would love to switch their fields, maybe you read let's say anatomy for your bachelor's degree, and you want to do your master's in, let's say, engineering, yeah, you have to explain why you're going to switch, why you want to switch, what it says for you, you know, as you're switching, if you get what I mean. Like, you have to just explain your personal statement, why the switch, why you want to study this in that particular school and in that particular country. So that's really what a personal statement is all about. You also need your application fee. I know in Ireland, not all schools actually require an application fee. For my school, yes, I did pay an application fee. I paid about 20,000 naira, which is about 50 euros. And that's what I paid for my application fee for my school. I know that a bulk of schools do not necessarily need an application fee to apply. There are very few schools that do need that. And the next document you'll be needing is opening a PAC account. So here in Ireland, there is something they call the Postgraduate Application Center. It's a portal where those that want to apply for both your master's and your PhD go to. You register, you create an account with them, and then they send you a verification link to your email address, and you verify the account, and then you go to any school of your choice on the portal. You see the courses that they offer, and then you apply for that. There are some schools that you can just directly apply via their school website or their school's portal. So that's what you need for that. You also need your IELTS. I know that most schools, if you check their requirements, you will see that they mention that IELTS is needed. Yes, but in my school, I didn't need IELTS to actually apply to gain an admission, but I needed IELTS for my visa application, which I'm going to go on later on in this video. So you need your IELTS. It doesn't necessarily mean IELTS. You can also get like any other English language test. You can get TOEFL, you can write PTE, you can write Cambridge, whatever, suits you. So guys, I was also asked about tuition fees here in Ireland. I would say that this varies on the course you want to study, the institution you want to go to, and what kind of citizen you are. If you're an EU citizen or an EEA citizen, that means that you won't pay very high fees compared to what international students will be paying. So for an average international student's master's degree tuition fee, I would say it's between 12,000 euros to about 15,000 euros, which is about 5 million naira where I'm from to about 6.3 million naira for your master's program. And then so another thing you're going to need is you will need academic reference and non-academic reference. So mostly every school you apply to here in Ireland asks you to submit an academic reference of your previous academic degree and a non-academic reference as well. So I received a question asking me how long you will wait before you actually gain admission. Speaking from my own personal experience in my own school, I would say that I waited about 3 weeks to a month before I got my admission, and that's because I submitted quite late and the load of applications received that particular year was a lot. So my advice to you is that you should really apply early. If you want to go in any academic year, please start to apply immediately the portal opens, because your application gets responded to fast. And then I know of some schools where you get the admission letter in few days, in 2 days, in 3 days, or in a week. But I received mine in 3 weeks to 4 weeks, like I said, because I applied late. So you have to apply early to be able to get your admission letter really early. So somebody asked me if it was good to use agents. So I'm going to say that for me, I actually used an agent. The name of the agent I used is studyacrossglobe. And apart from me, I've had like other friends that had good experiences with other good agents as well. And I'll recommend Drum Study Finders, and I'll also recommend ukeasnaija. I'm going to leave their social media handles down in the description box below, so that if you have more questions or if you need help for with your application, you can either contact Study Across Globe, you can contact Drum Study Finders, or you can contact UKEAS. For me personally, I use Study Across Globe, and I had a very good ride with them, an amazing experience with them, and they are free and they are reliable. So another question someone asks is if there are scholarship discounts here in Ireland for international students that want to study. So I would say that it still boils down to your school. There are some schools, and your course as well. There are some schools that take off 3,000, some schools 2,000, some schools 4,000. Some schools even give you as low as 50% off the course choice. It depends on your course choice, first of all, and also depends on your degree. I know there are some courses that won't even give you any discount at all. Like mine wasn't able to give me any discount at all, but I had friends that got discounts from their own tuition fees. I know that it also boils down to what you graduated with in your bachelor's degree. So if you graduated with a first class honors, your scholarship discount was going to be more than someone that graduates with a 2-1, and so on and so forth. And if you think that using an agent, or not even if you think, I would recommend that using an agent will make it faster and easier, because most of these agents are actually like partners to these particular universities here in Ireland. So it will be easier and faster for them to actually get you discounts, you know, for your tuition fees. What is the study duration here in Ireland? I would say for a bachelor's degree, it is between 3 to 4 years, or even 7, depending on your choice of course. For a master's degree, I would say that it's usually 1 year, but I know of a couple of master's programs that have lasted for 2 years, not part-time, full-time. And an example of one of those programs will be social works. I know for a PhD, the normal full-time duration will be 3 to 4 years, while part-time will be 6 years. I don't think that any international students is allowed to study part-time while being in a country like Ireland. I know that EU citizens are allowed to study part-time, but international students, we are not allowed to study part-time. We have to study full-time or don't study at all. I got another very interesting question from somebody. The person asked me, what are the booming fields here? I don't really know what the person means, but I think I have an idea of what the person means. So personally, yeah, I would like to say that every field is actually booming, and nobody should make the mistake of coming to do a particular course in a particular country because to you it is booming. I would rather recommend that you follow your heart and do what you actually want to do, not doing a course that you're going to struggle with later, or a course that you're not comfortable with just because you're trying to look for job opportunities or job prospects here in Ireland. If you think that in Ireland, if you study something else that is not booming, then why do you decide to even come to Ireland at all? Maybe you should just go to another country that would enhance your booming career. So I would say that at the end of the day, it boils down to how hardworking you as an individual is. I heard this statement saying that, oh, if you're not coming here to study health, or you're not coming here to study IT or business or climate change, then that means like you're not going to get jobs after your master's degree. It's not like I'm talking because I've gotten jobs. I haven't gotten any job yet, although I have attended one interview. And something I've come to realize here is that it has little to do with actually what you study and more about your skills and your experiences that you've acquired. I feel like that's what they actually really focus on than actually what you study. Because I tried applying for an internship, which I got, but we don't know, it got cancelled due to this whole situation we are going on, that's going on right now. I was applying, or I applied for a business role, and mind you, I am studying international public policy and diplomacy. Yet I applied for a business role and I got the job, not because of what I studied. For my bachelor's degree, I studied history and international studies. What singled me out for that particular interview was because of the skills I acquired and the experiences that I have gotten. So I feel like every one of us, every individual should actually brushing up on their skills, learn to acquire more skills. Your Microsoft suite skills should be on point. Everything that you want, like you think will make you marketable, gain those skills, acquire those skills, and then you can read what you want to do. I know of people that actually use that mentality of, oh, I have to read an IT course, or I have to read a business course, you know, because you're coming to Ireland, because you want to get jobs. Nobody is saying that those fields will not give you jobs. Those fields will actually have like more job opportunities here. But I feel like even if you read a business course or an IT course and you as an individual, you're not hardworking, you as an individual, you don't have what it takes to actually be in that particular role, you won't get it. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is that just do what you're comfortable with, do what you have a passion for, put in a lot of hard work. If you're a Christian, put in your faith, put in prayers, and at the end of the day, trust me, it will work. I don't want people to be discouraged saying that, oh, I want to read this, I have a passion for this, but I can't really read this because it's not booming in Ireland. Trust me, everything is booming. It just boils down to you as an individual at the end of the day. That's my opinion. I hope I have been able to answer this question. But just to answer this particular person, booming field here, due to my research here, I would say the health sector, I would say IT, I would say finance, and I would say business. So I think that's going to be all for the application process. But something I want to hint on will be the scholarship under the application process. Like I already said earlier, some schools give discounts based on your tuition fees. Some schools do not. Not all schools actually do give this discount. Some schools give you a 50% slash, depends on the course choice and the school. Yes, I know that the Irish government at the moment actually are giving scholarships to 60 students, 60 international students. I don't know if it's just international or if EU students are also included. I will check that and fill that in my description box below, but or on the screen here. But I know that currently they are awarding 60 scholarships to 60 students for both bachelor's degree, master's degree, and the PhD as well. So, and then this particular scholarship is closing April 17th this year. I'm sorry if I had made this video earlier, I would have been able to let you guys know. But there are a few days, and you can still meet up if you try to start applying now. If you already have an admission letter with any university in Ireland, conditional or unconditional, all you have to do is just check my description box below. I left all the links down there. All you have to do is just click and then apply, and make sure you submit before April 17th, 5 p.m. Irish time. If you do not have an admission letter yet, you can still check the link and try to gather all the documents necessary, all the documents needed, and then when the portal opens for the next academic year, I will do well to let you guys know that the portal has been opened, so that every one of you who is willing to apply for this scholarship would apply. So this scholarship contains your tuition fee as well as your accommodation and monthly stipend. So I would recommend, it's actually a very good scholarship. And someone also asked me if I'm here on a scholarship. No, I'm not here on a scholarship, but I know a couple of people who are here on discount as well as 50% scholarship. So all you have to do is really research. I'll also say that please do not also rely on my videos solely. Also try to research and find out things for yourself as well, because I'm just a student here. There's only to an extent of what I can say, so you have to do the rest of the job. The next sector we're going to be talking about today is the living cost. So I got a lot of questions asking me how much you really need to come to Ireland minus your tuition fee. So I'll just really say that in terms of living cost here, Ireland is like other European countries. It depends on the city that you stay. For Ireland, Dublin is our capital. So in Dublin, it's really expensive. It's just like Nigeria, Abuja. So yeah, it's really expensive in Dublin, and your living cost actually depends on where you stay. I'm still saying the same thing, but you get what I mean. So if you stay in smaller cities or smaller towns, you will tend to pay less, accommodation wise, transport wise, grocery wise, than if you're living in I want to say Abuja than if you're living in Dublin. So on an average, let's say in a smaller city like where I stay, I live in Cork, Ireland, because that's where my school is. I would budget like 500 euros. I'm going to put up the equivalent on the screen to naira and to dollar. So I would use like 500 euros in a month, and this accounts for both my accommodation, my groceries, you get what I mean, guys, and my transport as well. Meanwhile, if you're living in a city like Dublin on a budget, I would say the average would be like 800 euros, because accommodation is quite a hustle in Dublin. A hustle, you get it. And the next one will be, okay, still on the income that you need aside from your tuition fee. So generally, when you're applying for a visa here, the government requires that you need to have about 7,000 euros. 7,000 euros, I don't know how much that, okay, 7,000 euros, I don't know how much that is. I'll put it up on the screen. 7,000 euros in your bank account, or for just that's what the government requires you to have as an international student coming into Ireland. But for me, I came in with between 1 million naira to 1.5 million naira, which is between 2,494 euros to 3,530 or 40 euros. I will put in the dollar equivalent on the screen as well. Yeah, and so far it has actually sustained me with my accommodation, my groceries, my transport to school and back and other places, and also miscellaneous. And this is where this whole part-time job thing comes in. So in Ireland here, you are allowed as an international student to work 20 hours per week in the country during school hours, and then during holidays you are meant to work, or you're allowed to work about 40 hours per week as well. And then I would like to say that the minimum wage here in Ireland is about 10 euros 10 cents, which equates or is equivalent to 4,015 naira per hour using my Nigerian currency. So if you work for 20 hours in a week, I'm going to put up what the amount is going to be on the screen, but it just says that you're going to have enough money to at least cover for your accommodation, while the cost of living that you bring can just cover for your travel, your transport, your miscellaneous, your groceries, and other unexpected bills. So down to accommodation. Somebody asked me to speak on accommodation. I would say that accommodation is just, it depends on your choice as a student. I know of students that really want to live alone, so they'll probably go for the 1 bedroom. I know of students that want to share, so they'll probably go for the shared apartments where other students are, maybe 2 students, 3 students, 4 students, whatever the room case may be in the house. I know of students that also live with the hosts. So living with the host is just like living with a foreign person here, or even your citizen here, but you're just sharing, you're just paying for a room in their house. So people do that as an option. People share apartment here as an option. Some students also go for the hostel accommodation, but I would say the hostel accommodation can be quite on the high side. So if you're trying to cut down on your expenses, I rather say that you share an apartment with other students. Like me, I'm sharing an apartment with other Nigerian students here as well, so the bill is lesser. The bill for both the accommodation and then the normal bills for electricity and otherwise are also on a good price too. So that will move us down to the social experiences. I got a couple of questions on this, especially on the racial discrimination part. Personally, I do not think I've had any experience, or I have not had actually any experience that will make me feel like there is racism in this country. If you have had any experience, or you know someone that's had any experience, please leave it down in the comment section below, and then let's talk about it. Another question someone asked me was, how am I coping with classes? Basically, I'll say that the teaching method here is actually different compared to my home country, Nigeria. Here, they actually teach us with more practical themes. It's more practical here, and it's very interactive here than where I'm coming from or what I'm used to getting. So back home in Nigeria, I was a student, obviously, studying my bachelor's degree, and I was taught theoretically, like, it was a very serious approach. Lecturers come to class, they write the topic on the board, they go straight to the point, they teach. But here they come, they bring the topic, you all have to talk about it. It's going to be more of a seminar, more of an interaction session than actually a class. I don't know if you get what I mean. So it was very hard to actually cope from where I'm coming from, because I wasn't used to talking all the time in class, give my own point of view, creating suggestions and all that. But here the teaching style actually shapes me and made me learn all that. So it was very difficult to adjust to at first, especially in my first semester, but along the line I just got used to it, and then it hasn't been bad so far. How do you adapt to the new environment? Okay, so when I came here at first, I think the first thing that you obviously notice, like, regardless of who you are, where you're coming from, and especially if you're coming from a country like Nigeria, where our temperature weather is more like 25 degrees to 35 degrees, here, the fact that I came here, I think the weather was about like 2 degrees, guys. I'm not even kidding you. It was extremely cold, and coming from Nigeria with the whole sun, and then you're coming here to where you have to be shaking, looking for like winter jackets, getting gloves, getting socks, getting head warmers, getting mufflers. It was a tough situation for me. Like, I wasn't used to it at all. So that was one of my first challenges that I had to face. I had to adapt to the weather here. So, and apart from the weather, what else did I actually have to adapt to? I had to adapt to the fact that I was new here and I really did not know anybody here. Actually, in my city, I came on my own. I solved my accommodation on my own. I had no friends, I had no relative whatsoever that would help me here in Cork Island. So it was tough for me having to come from the airport. I dropped at Dublin airport, and then having to take a bus for like 3 hours 30 minutes down to Cork on my own, finding a place to stay. It was a big deal, guys. It was a lot. I would cry almost every day because I missed home. I still do miss home, but it wasn't as bad as it was. Not knowing who to talk to, you are seeing strangers everywhere. There was nobody you could actually relate with. It was tough, but I mean, you adapt. So yeah, another question somebody asked me would be prospects for life after masters here. So I like to put it out there that the Irish government actually allows for 2 years post-study visa. If you're a master's degree student here, you are allowed to stay in the country 2 years after your 1 year period of study, or whatever years of your period of study may be. You're allowed to stay here for about 2 years to look for a job, and then also be sponsored so that your visa can now upgrade from a student visa to a work visa. Guys, I don't have so much information about this whole visa thing and this whole work visa, student visa. I'm just a student. That's why I said if you have more questions, you talk to the agents down below in my description box. But yeah, usually just like a 2 year post-study visa that they give, which I think is quite good. I think it's at the same visa laws with Canada. Canada gives 2 years as well to the citizens or to the students to be able to find a job here. So, and for language, there is no language barrier, guys. Like, it's English, as you can hear me, that's what they actually speak here. It's just English. There's literally no language barrier. I don't think, since I have been here, for how long I have been here, I've actually heard somebody speak Irish to me. I don't think so. So I think with English, you're good to go. You don't necessarily have to learn a language and stay in the country for like a year to learn the language and actually learn the language before you start learning. No, it doesn't work that way. As long as you can speak English, you're good to go. You'll be fine in this country. So yeah, that brings us to like the last element, which is the visa part. So disclaimer guys, all I'm going to be saying here concerning this visa thing is just based off of my own experience and experience of other people I have asked as well. I am not working in the embassy. I am not a counselor that gives visa. This is just how it was for me, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys, because I got like a good number of questions also concerning this visa. So beginning from the visa duration. So when I applied for mine, I heard that the people that applied before me the previous year, so I got here in 2019, which was last year, and I heard that in 2018 they were giving visas in 1 week, 2 weeks, and at most 3 weeks. So you know, I was really excited, and then I laid back because of that, and then I applied late. I would call it late because July was actually late. And then when I applied, I was told that I was going to be giving my visa in 3 weeks. Guys, I waited 5 extra weeks, and they told me that okay, duration of the visa application has changed. It's now 8 weeks, and I'm like, 8 weeks? Okay. I waited 5 extra weeks. Do you know the funny part of this gist? I waited more than 8 weeks. Oh, Chineke. Hey God, I waited up to like 12 weeks before I got my visa, which is more like 3 months. So my advice to anybody is that the volume of application being received now at the embassy, especially Nigerian embassy, is really high. So if you're going to be planning to come to Ireland to study, I would advise that you try to submit your visa application at least 3 months before your course starts date. It gives room for you to not panic and wait a while pending, you know, when or how it's eventually going to go. So guys, I need to take a sip of water. I'm really thirsty. I think you're also thirsty, so you should also take water. Thank you. So we are back from the commercial break, guys. So I'm going to be talking about the visa documents here that I use to be able to apply and get my visa here in Ireland. So of course, you will need your admission letter, you will need your receipts for your tuition fees paid. And yes, I think I got this question as well. In Ireland here, I think, or no, I think it is known that you're meant to pay your complete fees before you resume school in September. Maybe you can pay like 80-90%. I don't really know if that is true or if that rule still stands up until this video, up until now. But I know that before you resume in September, whenever your start date is January or whenever, you just really have to pay 100% of your school fees, your tuition fees, before you actually start. And then I know that there is just one school, I've forgotten the name of the school, but I'm going to leave it up on the screen now. There's just that school that actually allows for 2 installments, pay your tuition fees in 2 installments. So you have to pay one before September, and then you have to pay the last part of it by January ending. So for applying for your visa, you also have to show your receipts that you have paid your tuition fees. And for those that will luckily get scholarship, you also have to submit your evidence supporting that, or evidence showing that you actually have a scholarship and that has been covered by either the government or your sponsor, or you know, whatever the case is. And you also need to submit an English language result. Like I said earlier, guys, you don't necessarily need an English language result while applying to get an admission, but you mandatorily need one to apply for your visa. Yes, to apply for your visa, a student visa. So you need to actually submit one. And I think the cutoff for IELTS, because that's the one I can really speak on, because that's the one I wrote and that's the one I know. The IELTS cutoff for visa application would be like a 5.0 band out of a 9-band score. Another thing you need is your sponsor's 6 months recent bank statements. You also need that. And an alternative method for this sponsor's 6 months bank statement would be education bond. I didn't really use education bond. I don't really know how it works, but I know a couple of people that have used it. I don't know if it is allowed up until the moment I'm making this video, but to the best of my knowledge, an education bond is more like an account per se, where a student lodges in 7,000 euros, because that's what is required by the Irish government that you should have upon your application to come into Ireland to study. So you need about 7,000 euros in the account, so that the Irish government and also the consular can also see that you're ready to study in Ireland, as well as you have your living cost covered as well. So the difference between these, the recent bank statement and the education bond, is that for the recent bank statements, you need to submit paperwork is involved. You also have to explain the inflow and the outflow of your of the money in the account, whoever your sponsor is. But whilst in the education bond, all you have to do is create a bank account and then store in the 7,000 euros there for them to see. They don't really need to know where the money is coming from. They just need to know that you have the 7,000 euros down in the account, and that's what you're going to use for the year during your study period. Guys, I don't know, but if anybody knows so much more about this education board and you like to share, or about the recent bank statement, please do us leave it down in the comment section below. Let us all talk about it as well. And one of the most important things you need is your original international passport, and also your previous passport as well. You need that, and then you also need to state to the consular if you've ever gotten any previous visa refusals. You need to let that known during your visa application. Maybe write a letter so that you can read that. You also need your passport size color photographs, more like 2 to 4, about just get 2 to 4, and make sure that the passport photographs are not older than 6 months. And then application fee. When I applied and submitted all my supporting documents, I think I paid an application fee of 47,000 naira, which is equivalent to 110 euros, and also equivalent to $174. What else do you need, guys? You also need a signed letter of application, including your full contact details, explaining why you're coming to Ireland, telling the Irish government that you're going to observe all conditions of your visa, also telling them why you want to study that particular course in that particular country, which is Ireland. If there's a change of course or field, you also need to let that known in that current letter. And you also need to state if you have any family member that is living in Ireland or not. And then it has to be a signed letter, guys. You also need evidence accounting for any gaps in your educational history. So like me, when I graduated in 2018, I stayed in Nigeria back for a year doing my National Youth Service Corps, serving my country basically. So I had to explain that I was doing my NYSC for this particular year. That's why I didn't go for my master's immediately. I also had to show a proof, so I submitted my NYSC certificate. You can probably add pictures just for reference sake. And then you also have to show evidence that you have the academic ability to follow the particular choice that you have chosen. So more like submitting your academic transcript, it has to be there as part of your visa application documents. And you also have to submit your certificate as well. You also need to submit a document stating that you have paid for a private medical insurance. So here, as an international student, you are required to actually get a medical insurance that will sustain you for the period of your study. So while I was coming, I paid about 160 euros, which is equivalent to about 63,600 naira, and also about 174 US dollars. Sorry guys, the application fee in dollars sign will be like 128, not 174, while the private medical insurance will be about 63,600 and about 160 euros, and then about 174.65 US dollars. Another thing you need, guys, is your birth certificate. You really need to put your birth certificate. I think I even had an issue with that. I put a birth certificate that was already torn, and it wasn't looking legit, but it was actually the original one. Just that, you know, as we grow older, things get destroyed, so I had to actually do another birth certificate. So you also have to get a letter from your sponsor stating that they are ready to sponsor you, and also a proof of relationship. I think I also had an issue with that. Even if my sponsor were my parents, I still had an issue with that. So what I did was to swear an affidavit that would also help me. It's just more like an evidence, you know, for that particular letter. And then if you're coming for your bachelor's degree and you're below the age of 18, please do well to get a consent from your parents or your legal guardian stating that they are aware that you're coming to Ireland or you're applying to Ireland for your study. And also, people did this. I don't really think I did it, but some people did it, and then it was actually a good thing. You can also get a letter from a police office, a police station, stating that you are a citizen, a good citizen, free of criminal charges and whatnot. You also aid in your visa application as well. And then please guys, also remember to submit all of these documents that I just mentioned earlier in original copies. Of course, we'll make photocopies, but please don't forget to submit all of them in the original copies, and then attach the photocopies as well. If you're watching this video and you're in Ireland and you think that there is a document that I have missed out and I didn't say, or there is something that I should have said that I didn't say, or there is something that you want to correct me on, please do us leave it down in the comment section below, and I'll do well to really get back to each and every one of us. Let's make the comment section very interactive. If you think I didn't satisfy all your questions here, or you have more questions for me, please also do well to leave them down in comment section below and let us talk about it. And yeah, I think that'll be it. We've come to the end of this video. I'm going to do well to leave the scholarship links down, and also the agents and their social media handles down in my description box, and my personal statements, as promised guys, I'm also going to leave that as well. I'll probably leave like 2 personal statements so that you can have a variety of options. And what else? And also do well to let you guys know the next time the application portal for scholarship is being open for those that may not meet up for the April 17, 2020 deadline. So yeah, I think that'll be it. Thank you guys so much for turning in your questions and for sitting down with me and having this conversation. It was actually nice doing something that you guys actually want to see. If you have more suggestions of videos you want to see, please leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll do well to answer to each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to comment, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe and share to your family and friends, and also people that you think are coming to Ireland and need this piece of information. You can share the videos to them. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Mwah.